Webster defines a journey as traveling from one place to another. But in Journey to the Overland, you'll do a lot more than just travel. From the moment your character leaves his hometown, you'll begin to experience the encounters and adventures that could only take place in Journey to the Overland. Whether you're new to fantasy gaming or an old role-playing veteran, you'll feel right at home, yet uncomfortably new to the world of Overland. Far more than a board game, but not quite role-playing, Journey to the Overland combines the best elements of each. Set in a world where sorcery, magic, and might are the greatest powers, and surviving is the only law, Journey to the Overland gives you what the other games won't: a chance to tackle it all alone. With its unique encounter cards, various scenarios, and extensive use of non-playing characters, you have everything you need to enjoy hours of travels and adventures. But the only way to truly appreciate the commitment and dedication that went into this game is to grab your favorite figure, grab the dice, and start playing. Welcome to a way of gaming you will never leave, because once you begin it, there's no returning from. A Journey to the Overland. Previously on Journey to the Overland. Setting out with his newly acquired skill of fighter, Maverick vows that his days of running from fights are over. However, not long after setting out, instead of having to fight, Maverick makes a new friend and is joined by a female magician from his hometown of Milesdale. However, he doesn't have to wait long to put his new skills to the test, as the two are attacked by Amazons. Though outnumbered 4-1, Maverick's fighter skill and Zamora's mesmerization spells prove too much for the fierce female Amazon warriors. But the pair have little time to rest when they are ambushed. Once again outnumbered, these ambushers prove to be much more difficult to deal with than the Amazons. Alternating between attacking and defending, the ambusher's fighting style seems as if it will be too much for even Maverick to deal with his new fighter skill. But once again, Zamora's mesmerization spell holds off 2 of their 4 attackers, giving Maverick the time he needs to finish off the other 2. Victorious but wounded, Maverick and Zamora finally arrive in Dwarf Town for some much needed rest and provisions, before what he hopes will be his final inauguration into the fabled ranks of the Dragon Slayers. Hey, welcome back, fellow travelers. So it's been a while since I did an episode. That was for several reasons. The first of which was I simply wanted everybody to get caught up, because I noticed that the views were kind of uneven. So some of the earlier episodes, I was averaging about 40 views. As I started to do more and more weekly, the views were going down to 18 or 24. So I figured that was a result of some people just hadn't had a chance to watch them or get caught up, because eventually they all would kind of get up to 40. So I decided to let some of the episodes sit for a while. And I'm pleased to say, I think episode 9, which was the last one, has got like 50 views now. So that's about where we're at. So I decided it was time to pick up with Maverick's Tale. Now, as you probably heard in the opening, Maverick and his magician, the female magician Zamora, are in the town of Dwarf Town. And so I've just kind of got this meeple here since they're inside. I didn't want to necessarily have the characters out. Now, I've had to do a lot of bookkeeping off camera, because essentially when they went into town, they were very badly wounded. I think Maverick had over 50 wounds. Zamora, I think she had, her endurance was 29 out of 60 something. So I calculated it out and figured they'd have to rest for about 18 or 20 days. And so rather than play that out on camera and draw the cards and things, I decided to do it and then pick up once we had got there. Now, I actually did do it, and I may do, the next time I do that, I may show you how I do that off camera, just in case you find yourself in that situation. But to explain it briefly, is what I do is, I do draw the weather cards for each day that they're resting, because some days they will heal additional wounds. So it may say heal 1 wound if you rest today, heal 3 wounds if you rest today. And that's important because it will speed up their healing. So instead of simply saying, you know, taking 18 days off my character sheet and then pulling my cards, I actually pull the cards, as opposed to just saying, okay, let's pick up, it's 18 days later. Plus, there's also events. So I pull my weekly events. The current event now in play is this one here. So there's a plague going through the land again, which is obviously going to affect what we do the rest of this week. I've already played 2 days of this week. We're into week 24, as you might have saw. And this is day 3. So I'm probably going to be doing some town activities, which would be fun. It'll be a chance to see how some of maybe the tavern works, how the audience with NPC mayors work. I haven't had a chance to do any of that. And I think I want to do some of that. Maverick, as far as his money and wealth and things, I was able to pay for all of their food and lodging up front. So I didn't have to worry about that while they were resting. And I will show you the character sheet of kind of where they're at now. Okay, this is Maverick's character sheet. And the first thing you will notice differently is I no longer have that whole bevy of weapons listed that I had gotten off of the people I had defeated. Now, one thing I needed to make a note on, because when I was watching the video, I don't know if I put the weight for those weapons in there. And whenever you take weapons or items off of NPCs, you should try to ascertain the weight based on a similar weapon. So I think at one time I had 2 staffs, 2 short swords, and all of that stuff here. And you remember we have weight limits. I think the average character is 50 pounds. So if you're over that weight limit, then you need to discard some items, meaning you can't carry all that stuff, right? So you just can't keep fighting people and then show up in town, you know, loaded up with weapons and clubs and shields and armor, unless you got a wagon or a cart, which I didn't have. So I'm not sure. I don't think I would have been that much over. I mean, my broadsword, my dagger is 11 pounds. I'm not wearing any armor. I kept one of the shields, so I don't think I would have been that over. Plus, I could have had Cortana carry some of it if I worked it out. But I'll do that in the future. I'll make a quick note of how much weight it would be. Now, unfortunately, the 2 staffs that I got, I think were from the Amazons. I couldn't sell them because there's no entry in the weapons table for staffs. And you can only sell an item in town if it's an item that's sold. So you get half of what you would have bought it for. So because they don't sell staffs, I couldn't sell it there. Now, sometimes you will get items off of characters, like say you encounter a ninja or something and they've got throwing stars. It will tell you, even if it's not listed, these can be sold at Morsh Monastery, or these can be sold at King's Castle, and then you can do that. But that wasn't the case for me. I think I wound up with like 155 gold. So I paid for all my lodging up front. I bought like a bunch of food, which I've already subtracted all that out. I've already gotten rid of my wounds. And I've got 92 gold left. So it's not a lot, but it does give me a little to do some things, like if I want to seek an audience, if I want to go to the tavern, and different stuff like that. So that's important. My main goal this game is going to be to make it to Dwarf Haven and see if I can get an audience with the King Thoron, who's the king of the dwarves, and get accepted into the Order of the Dragon Slayers. So we're going to start day 3. I'm all rested. I'm all healed. I still got 2 days of lodging already paid for, so I don't have to pay for that anymore. And I think what we're going to do is let's see if we can seek an audience with the mayor of Dwarftown. Okay, so the first thing I did was check the I wanted to check the event card to Plague to just make sure it didn't apply. And this says anyone you encounter or meet. So I'm not going to apply that to having an audience. I'm assuming this means people traveling on the road or whatsoever. So the next thing we're going to do is pull the weather card. So here's the weather for the day, a lunar eclipse, which means I couldn't travel even if I wanted to travel with the plague going on. Now, one thing I did think about with that plague card is because we are in the mountains, the chance of having an encounter is very rare. So I may try to get to Dwarf Haven. It's only 1 hex away, which I think I could get there without an encounter. But we will see. I'll see how things go. Anyway, let's see if we can get the audience now with the mayor of Dwarftown. Because what I'm hoping is to get some kind of result that will help me when I go to apply to be the Dragon Slayer. Sometimes the mayors will give you letters or give you a bonus so that when you make that roll, you know, you can do better, have a better chance. Okay, so it says, let's read this. The mayor of Dwarftown is called Tor. He is a 150-year-old dwarf with a somewhat ruddy complexion. He is short and has a very strong build. He is wearing silver plate armor but has no helmet. His armor bears the symbols of a dragon's head on the chest, marking him as a former dragon slayer. He has a large double-headed axe called Steubenfell or Dwarven Rage that has a serrated edge on either side. The shaft has black leather straps extending down its length. Tor has many cuts and burns on his face and body from countless battles and encounters with dragons, and he is missing one ear. His face is old but pleasant and strong. Okay, and then this gives you his stats. He has some abilities with Dwarftown magic. He's a berserker. Said if you are granted an audience with him, roll percentile dice and check the result below. So in order to see if we get an audience, we got to first go to the seek an audience table, which is, where's the seek an audience table? That was one of the tables I was looking at the last time we played. Or was that the news and information table? NPC reaction table, percent encounter table. Come on. Wait for it. Towns. Oh, here it is. Seek an audience. Okay. Each town is run by a mayor. Morsh Monastery's father is considered as mayor, who may be seen by characters if they allowed an audience. Characters wishing an audience with the mayor of town must roll on the table below. So this is the table. It doesn't indicate anything we can do to add to our roll. So let's just make this roll. I'm assuming we need to roll high. So the black dice is going to be my 10 die. Ho ho! 87! That's gotta be good. Come on now. Come on now. What? Not that again. The mayor has fallen ill. No audience is allowed unless you are a healer, cleric, or capable of healing his 10 points of wounds. If so, you are... Now, let me see if Zamora has a healing ability, because she does have Mild Steel Magic, which I'm not sure if Mild Steel Magic has any healing properties. I would suspect it doesn't, but you never know. There's only a couple of spells, and these town spells are fairly weak. They're not like wizards or clerics or anything. These are just kind of little magic tricks. So she has illusion, class conversion, and mesmerization. So she has nothing that's going to heal them. Alright, so we're going to take our daily meal, and we'll check again tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to pull another weather card. Snow, that's not going to affect us because we're not going nowhere. We're going to roll again to seek an audience. Not even sense in pulling out the book until I see what I roll. And remind me to make a mental note that 87 is not good. For some reason, I've been thinking that's a great roll. 26. Oh, crap. That's probably not good either. So let's see what we get. See there? See there? That's not a good result. You are harassed by 3 mayoral guards. This is what they're wearing. If you fight them, they will fight Jesus to the death. It's not that serious, folks. If you kill them, you will encounter the constables. Crap. And be jailed and tried. Holy cow, minus 50 from your defense. If you do not fight them, you will be beaten and receive 14 wounds and be thrown out of the town or castle. Wow. Now this is horrible. This is horrible. See, this is the danger when you try to seek audiences with mayors and news and information and all that crap. Man. And I don't have nothing that allows me to re-roll this. I don't mind taking the 14 wounds. I don't even mind being thrown out of town. The problem is we're going to be outside of the town and means we have this plague. So we'd have to try to come back in tomorrow. But I don't have any choice. We're going to have to get thrown out of town. I'm not going to fight them. Because it says if you fight them, they will fight to the death. Which means I will have to kill them. And then if I kill them, we're going to encounter the constables. Which basically just creates an unending arc of a warrant being issued for your arrest if you kill constables. So it's... oh my goodness. Alright. I guess we get thrown out of town. Okay, so we're back outside. It's the friggin' 5th day, or we're going into the 5th day of the 24th week. You know, that was a bummer, but I'm not, it could have been worse because we could have actually been jailed, in which case we would have had to stand trial, which you don't want to do. I mean, obviously, if I was trying to do a different path, I could have, you know, I could have attacked them and probably killed them. I mean, I'm fully healed. I'm a fighter. I don't have any armor, but, and I think they might have been wearing armor, but, you know, it is what it is. It's over with now. They threw us out. The good thing, though, was it didn't say we couldn't go back in. So let's pull the weather card for the next day. I've already taken care of the rest of my books as far as food. I didn't even have a chance to buy supplies or anything before I got thrown out. So lucky I still had some on me. And of course it still snowed. The roads are slippery. We couldn't travel anyway, because we can't move in the mountains because we're at -1 from our movement rate, and the rate is only 1 in the mountains. So, and I probably will not travel the rest of this week because I don't want to risk catching the plague, which is out and about again. So I guess we're going to rest to start trying to heal some of these 14 wounds we took. So that's all we're going to do today. Alright, so this is the card for day 6 of week 24. The weather's clear, there's no effect. So I could just rest, of course, because I still have, I think, 11 of the 14 wounds that I took. I could try to get back in town, this time quietly. The problem is I'm worried if we encounter somebody, they might have to plague. And I don't think this can be cured other than going to King's Castle. It says you -3 wounds every day you have it until you get to the castle. And then you have to stay there and rest to heal the wounds. So that's not a good result, because the King's Castle is probably, I don't know, what is that, about a week away by foot? You know, if you're assuming. Well, let's just see here. Let's just see here. 1 day, 2 days. So it's about 3 days, but you know, obviously if you have an encounter or get lost, it could wind up being a week. -3 times 7, that would be 21 wounds you take just trying to get there. I mean, I've already got 14, so even though, and I don't know if it says they automatically will have it, or do I roll to see if they have to plague if I encounter somebody. Oh, that's a 70 or 30% chance. It's a 70% chance. That's crazy. No, I'm not doing that. Yeah, we're just gonna rest some more. Alright, so this is day 7. So roll in a random direction. If I go that way, I can add 1. Let me see. That always helps in the mountains. 5. Which way is 5? I think that's going the opposite way of Dwarftown or Dwarf Haven, but let's just be sure. I got my random direction table. The reason I'm checking is because it might allow me to make it straight to Dwarf Haven. And just skip going back to Dwarftown at all. Looking on my cheat sheet, I think I have it in here. Random directions. Alright, 5 is going east. So, if we're here, that's north, and that's east. So that's not any way I'm trying to go. Because we've just been thrown out of Dwarf Town, which I didn't even pick where they would throw us out at. I guess I should have rode for one of those hexes. I don't know which one they would have put us in. 10. What direction would that be? It's just to see what hex we should be in. South. So that's right. If we were in Dwarf Town, we'd be right here. So I just did a random direction to see which hex we got thrown out into. Alright. So it doesn't really change much from yesterday. The week is almost over. So I'd be a fool if I took the risk when I'm this close to the week being in. So we're just gonna rest again. Okay, so we started another week. I did check for the dragon flight because it ended another month, and looks like he flew over Fire Castle this time, which is the Wizard Mordecai's castle, so that's kind of funny. This is the event card for the week. So the price of all food is double. There's a relief center at the castle. So that won't really affect us. I've got enough money for my food. Let's check the weather. Friggin' blizzard. Crap. Traveling on land, -1 for move. That will affect me. -1 for ability in combat. I don't have any troop units. So this is gonna affect me. I won't be able to get into. I won't be able to get back into Dwarf Town. Now I healed 9 of the, I think, of the 14 wounds that they gave me by resting those days. So if I rest again today, 9, 10, that would heal all but 2 of the wounds. I don't know if there's really anything else I could do today. I can't travel. I don't really need to train with none of my weapons because I'm pretty much, my ability score is about as high as it can get. With that and my fighter skill and when I'm using a broadsword. So yeah, it looks like we're just gonna rest again today. Day 2 of week 25. Blazing heat. All characters must eat 1 additional wound. Yeah, you can see they were getting dizzy from the heat. Sorry about that. Characters, what does that say at the bottom? Characters also -10 from their agility score for the day. Any characters in desert terrain suffer 1 wound from the heat. Well, I'm not in desert terrain. So we have to eat 1 additional meal. That's going to affect us though, because I'm down to only, I think I only have like 10 units of food. And I'm eating 2 each. So we're going to travel though. Let's see if we can get into the town. Now we are in open land. This is in the mountain, so there's going to be a % chance of us getting lost. We also have to check for an encounter going into the mountain. So first thing we're going to do is check for an encounter, which is 45% chance. So here's hoping we have no encounter. The black die is my 10 die. 24s. We do have an encounter. You gotta be kidding me. Alright, so let's see what we got. Oh, a veteran crusader. I'm not a knight. So I'm not a knight. I guess I have to roll. Do I roll on the NPC reaction table then? Master with several weapons. A morning star. Any negative result and he will simply leave. Well, that's good. But there's a positive result, means he could join my party. Now, let me see if... I don't know why my camera keeps losing focus today. Let me see if Zamora has any spells that could help me. I know she has illusion, mesmerization, and I think there was one more. I wonder if she could cast an illusion to make me look like a knight. Because that would help. What level is he? Oh, he's level 3. This probably wouldn't work on him. Here's one illusion. Let's take a look at this. This is a simple illusion trick. If performed successfully, will allow the caster to make an NPC or character see something that is not there. The NPC or character must then pass a presence check, or they will suffer a -5 from any activity involving the use of their presence score. This only lasts for 1 round of combat or 1 day. So that really wouldn't help me right now. Mesmerization, we've seen that. Class conversion, I've talked about that. So, nothing really. The illusion might have came in handy if it was something where we had to check his presence to see whether he would join me or not. But it's really not his presence, it's mine. But it says any negative result and he will leave. So let's just roll. Whoa, I rolled a 36, which I think is definitely going to be a negative result. But since it says he will leave, I'm going to let him leave. I mean, I could obviously attack this guy and try to start a fight, maybe take his stuff, but I'm not that kind of character. And he looked like he was pretty formidable. So anyway, that resolved our encounter. Now we're going to see whether or not we can make it into Dwarf Town without getting lost. And the percent of getting lost going from open land to the mountains. And I don't know if I have anything that helps me reduce my chance of getting lost. Well, that's the percent counter table. Percent getting lost table. Where is that at? It should be in here. 1 second. If I don't find it in a minute, I'll pause it. I don't know why. It seems like for some reason all of my... Well, I don't think I put that one in my cheat sheet because it was too big. So I have to look in the actual book on the getting lost table. Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh. Tell you what, if I could get anything I wanted for Christmas this year would be a new index for this book. Because the guy I paid to do the book did a terrible job. I had a backer help with the index, but it wasn't his fault. It was the guy who did the PDF. Anyway, so here is the open land, and we're going into mountains. So that's a 60% chance, 65% chance of getting lost entering the town. Now, I'm not really sure if Dwarf Town is in the mountains. Let me check that closer. Because there's some mountains here. But it's also right here in open land. Dwarf Haven is definitely in the mountains, but Dwarf Town is not in the mountains. Because the mountain range runs along here. And it just misses it. So we're not going to check for getting lost because I don't think I checked the last time for getting... I'll have to check when I go to Dwarf Haven from Dwarf Town, but the Dwarf Town is actually not in the mountains. So we can just enter that today. which we just did, and I can buy some more supplies and things. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I made it back into Dwarf Town, me and Zamora. I'm actually starting to run out of gold again, unfortunately. So I had to restock all my food. I had to pay for my lodging, and so I've got like 66 gold pieces on me. Even though all that stuff I sold, actually I got 60 and 11 silver pieces. I got plenty of food still. That's food for 3. So I think what I'm going to do is I might, depending on the weather, we might just head straight to Dwarf Haven tomorrow and roll to see about becoming Dragon Slayers. And I'm starting to get worried my plans are going to go awry if I don't stick to them. Okay, so here's the weather for the day. I sound kind of despondent because I just remembered something I'll tell you in a second. A tornado strikes on land. All characters are separated 10 hexes from their horses. I don't have any horses, thank goodness. But I've only got 7 days food for 3 because I bought 16, but I realized because of the famine, the price is actually double this week. So I couldn't afford to buy. You know, it would have been like another 30 gold to buy 16. And plus, I'm not going to buy food when it costs twice as much as it will in a few days. So I only bought, I think I wound up only buying 8 days food. So hopefully that'll be enough. So we spent the evening in Dwarf Town. I paid for that. The weather, there was a tornado, but it hasn't really affected me. I think we're going to try to get into Dwarf Haven. I've got to check for getting lost. I got to check for an encounter in the mountains. Yeah, but I think it's time we tried to get into the Dwarf Haven. If we get lost, we get lost. Today is, you know, I'm in about the best shape I'm going to be. Today is day 3 of week 25. Okay. So first let's check for an encounter in the mountains, 45% chance. No encounter. Now this is the big roll. We're going to check for getting lost going into the mountains. And I don't think she has anything that can help me. I don't know if I have any items that can help me. I don't know if you can buy any items that can help you, like a compass or something, but I don't think so. Alright, one thing, let me check one thing under terrain. Okay, I was trying to see if there was anything as like if you had traveled in the area before, whether you needed to, whether you got some bonus from getting lost, but I didn't see that. I think it might just be with elves. The other thing though is I need to buy some mountain ropes before we leave, because once you travel in the mountains, there's an 80% chance of falling if you don't have mountain ropes. And so I'll show you how mountain ropes work here. They are 13 silver pieces each, so I need 2, one for me and one for her. Those double asterisks, for some reason my editor didn't type in what the asterisks indicated, but what they are supposed to indicate is that you roll for the mountain ropes percent score when you buy it. And what that does is that's what you subtract from that 80% chance of falling. So I'm going to buy the mountain ropes. 2 of them would be, what was that, 26 silver pieces divided by 3. So that would be 3 times 9 gold pieces, basically. 3 times 9 is 27. So I'd have 1 silver left after giving them 9. So I'll add 1 to my silver. Alright, so I just kind of did that off camera. I went from 60 to 51 and 11 to 12. But now I have 2 mountain ropes. So we're going to put that in our items. I'm going to roll for mine and then hers. So I have a mountain rope. And my percent score for mine is 0.08. What a piece of trash. I'm throwing that rope away. No way. I can't travel with that. So I'm going to have to buy another mountain rope. Because that one will not do me any good. So that's going to be another 13 silver. Take 1 gold will give me 3 more. That puts me at 50 gold and 15 silver minus 13. I'm not even going to roll for hers till I get me a decent one. So let's try this mountain rope. 81. Yes, that's what I wanted. 81%. So that means I'd only have a 1% chance of falling as long as I'm using that mountain rope. Her mountain rope is 85. Yes. So that means she'd only have a 1% chance of falling using her mountain rope. Because there's always a 1% chance that something can happen. But that's what I needed. I mean, it cost me, I had to buy 3 ropes to get them, but that's okay. I mean, I'm not going out there with an 8% mountain rope. So let me give her this mountain rope. I don't know where I'm going to put this on her sheet. These sheets aren't that involved. I'd love to see people start playing this game and coming up with some fan-made sheets, character sheets and things. Maybe I could download them. Of course, I'll get to all that again in future revisions. Alright, so we got our mountain ropes. We got to see if we're going to get lost now. Unfortunately, they don't help you with getting lost. So we have a 65% chance of getting lost. We already rolled for an encounter. There's no encounter. So let's just roll for this getting lost. 65%. Come on. Oh, crap. That was off the thing. Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. Keep rolling off the thing. 44. So we did get lost. Oh, crap. Alright, let's see which way we're going. 2. Which is, what direction is that? Of course, that makes sense that we would get lost. We've never traveled in these mountains before. 2 is north. So we're actually going to be going up this way. But now how many hexes? That's crazy, man. We could wind up in Elf Mountain. 9. Ah. Crap. Well, we can't go 9. So north would be 1, 2, 3. This is where we're going to wind up at. On the other side of the mountains. Over here by Elf Mountain. Ah, crap. I was hoping we'd get lost here and already be in the mountains, which meant we just have to wind our way back to Dwarf Haven. Now, we're going to have to roll again. Of course, maybe next time I can get lost in the opposite direction. roll a 9 going this way. All right, let's check for my 1% chance of falling since we did travel through the mountains. This is mine. Whoa, not me, but that was close. Well, actually, that was a 91. Hers. Huh? That was closer, but she didn't fall either. So that helped us. And we're actually not in the mountains again. So, I mean, I could go hunting or something, but we're right here by the coast. What else? Where are we by? We're up here by Elf Mountain, which I'd have to go through the mountains to get in there, but we're going to try to get back to Dwarf Haven tomorrow. So we're going to take our daily meal, and we'll see what the weather's like tomorrow. All right, so we are starting day 4 of week 25. Believe it or not, this is actually getting kind of fun. This is like a little puzzle. I'm going to get to Dwarf Haven. This is not going to stop me. The tornado again. That doesn't affect us. I don't have any animals. All right, so now we can try to get into the mountains again, or we can stay like kind of right here along this open land and then try to come in this way. But I'm just going to try to get into them again. I mean, at this point, if I get lost, unless we wind up, you know, wind up in the frozen tundra, which technically I couldn't do because we can't cut through the water. So even if we go this way, we wouldn't be in the tundra, not now. So, I mean, we've got to get to, if I can get into the mountain ranges, then I can just travel at 1 hex a day slowly till I get there. So that's what we're going to do. These mountains are tough, but we're going to get in there. So the first thing we're going to do is check for an encounter entering the mountains, 45%. No encounter. That's what I need to be rolling for getting lost. Check for getting lost, 65%. We are lost. Check for the direction. 5. How many hexes? Now, is 0 10 or 0? Because I wrote a 0, but I don't know if that's 10 or 0 when you're checking for getting lost. So 5 is east, right? And use the result to determine when to move in the direction indicated by the dice, therefore. So it doesn't say whether 0 is 10 or whether it's 0. But I think it's 10. Because normally that's why it's called a D10, is that the 0 is the 10. So we're going 10 hexes to the east. Oh my lord. We're getting way off track. So if we're in this hex, east, actually that's southeast. So anyway, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's how straight east would take us. Wow. Oh my lord. We are now in Kings Harbor. We are totally off course. Totally off course. And I thought for sure we would be in Dwarf Haven before this episode was out. We're down here in Kings Harbor, which is basically, you know, a null location on the board. Man, we are totally off course. Oh my goodness. That must have took us a week away from Dwarf Town and Dwarf Haven. Oh my goodness. Let me see though. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at. We were here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If we're heading straight east, that's where we would wind up at. And that was probably the worst roll I could get. The total worst. I would rather have went 10 this way. Right? Because if we had got 10 this way, you know, we would have wound up down here like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe down there. I don't know. Oh my goodness. That was actually the worst we could get. We never made it. Which is why a lot of people don't go there, I suppose. So, what day of the week is this? Oh my goodness. This is day 4. That was just day 4. And now we're going to have a bunch of encounters and fights and things to get back there. I don't know. Maybe I'll just go to King's Castle and try to become a knight. Alright, I'll see in a minute. Let's just do our daily meal and stuff. Alright, so let's just see what the next day's weather is. I don't really know what my plans are now. Hurricanes. That won't affect me, even though I am in the harbor. But for now, that won't affect us. So the question is, do we head back to Dwarf Haven? Or do I change my plans? You know what? I have no choice. I'm going back. I mean, his goal is to be a dragon slayer. I mean, he wants to slay Valron. I don't really know if I can get him to be a knight. I haven't checked that. I think you got to have like a minimum number of combats and kills and stuff to even be a squire. And then that takes a while. I mean, I'm sick of hanging out in towns. You know what? I just remembered I have to pay her too. Zamora's been with me. Heck, how many weeks did we rest? I think we rested, what, 18 days? So that was 2 weeks. And we're into the 3rd week that so I owe her 15 gold. So that takes me from 50 down to 35. And I just thought about it. I have to keep paying her. So she's not going to be with me forever if she doesn't get paid. She's actually got more gold than me now. She's actually got 95 gold pieces. I've only got 35. Oh my goodness. All right, but we're going to travel. You know, we'll see what we run into. What I need to do is go to some kind of town or somewhere, get some news and information, and see if I can get some type of quest or mission or something. Unless I try to get one of the weapons of power, which might not be a bad idea. Hold on a second. Okay, so these are the weapons of power. Now, I was actually thinking of doing this after I became a Dragon Slayer. I was going to try to go get the Blood Blade so that I could use it in the combat. Even though Dragon Slayers specialize with axes, I mean, the Blood Blade is the Blood Blade. But maybe I should try to get one before I become a Dragon Slayer. So where's the Blood Blade at? Because I'm not going to read all of the attack stuff. Where's it at? So you have to go somewhere and dig in the infested mountains in Hex 1819. So basically you go there, you dig until you encounter some type of creature. Oh, the infested mountains is back down here. That's back down where the mountains where Velron is at. That's where I was lost because of the earthquake. So I had to buy a shovel. It was hidden in there in that hex. And then you'd have to spend 1 week digging and doing no other action than digging. After the week, you encountered a Guardian of the Sword. And so I had to fight this guy who's pretty powerful. Level 4, plus 10 staff with minus 15 damage. That's not too bad. He has the power of meltdown. That's bad. Minus 22 and destroys his opponent's weapon and armor. Oh my goodness. So how do you fight without a weapon? Meaning you need a magical weapon, or else it says, well, I guess if it doesn't attack, you can keep using your weapon, or you'd have to bring a bulk load of weapons. Oh, that's not good. Now, I don't think we're going to be going for the Blood Blade. What about the Emerald Cross? What does it do? So it's made from the pieces from the Cross of Christ. This is good against magic and spells, which really I don't need. I know Velron, I think he has some kind of magic, either magic resistance, but I don't think he really attacks with it. The Resurrection Ring would help if I got killed. But no, what about the Bow of Light? That looks interesting. It's a very powerful weapon. It's a Wood Elves. The Bow of Light is kept in the Great Heart of the Wood Elves. You have to go to Elf Mountain, kill the Great Elf Vine Tech. Then you roll for your wisdom score. So I still would be in the mountains. And then, of course, the last one is the Peaceful Palms, which would be good for NPC reaction rolls. Where are they kept at? Where are the Peaceful Palms kept at? Where is that at? Does it even say where they're at? Also, it says 1 palm per year grows in the hex 0605 on the Unknown Islands on the 3rd day of the 3rd month of every year. Any character on the island in that hex on that exact day that can identify the palm may take it. However, in order to identify, you must have spent 1 week at the Royal Library in King's Castle researching the history of the palms. Wow. So that meant I would have to be on this island, the Unknown Islands, right here, on the 3rd month, the 3rd day of the 3rd month. And I think this is Hex 605, that mound there is where they grow at. But you'd have to be there on that exact day to see if you had a wisdom to obtain the palms. And then you can only do that after you've studied for a week at King's Castle. So it doesn't look like we're going to be getting a weapon of power. people. Oh my God. So I could try going to Morse Monastery to see if I could become a samurai. That might be interesting. Let's take a look at that. Alright, so this is the samurais. And it tells the story of Quinn Famari, who founded the samurai order in the Overland. And I can tell you right off the bat, I won't be able to do this because there's a 1,000 gold piece a week and 10,000 experience point fee to study as a samurai. Which I don't even have 1,000 gold pieces, let alone 1,000 a week. I mean, how many weeks is the thing? It looks like it's a 4-week course. So that's 4,000 gold pieces. I need 10,000 XPs to spend, and I don't have any XPs to spend. I used them all for my fighter skill. So it doesn't look like we're going to be a samurai. All right, let's check knighthood. Okay, so let's see what I'd have to do if I wanted to be a knight. I'd have to go to King's Castle. That's not bad. I've been there. Obtain an audience with the king. So after you get granted the audience, instead of rolling on the table, you take a job as a serf for 4 weeks. All my possessions and money must go to the king, keeping nothing for myself but food and a sword. After I do my work as a serf, I must practice and train with the lance. Once I do that, I have to spend 2 weeks, or with the sword and the lance. I spend 2 weeks training with each, so that's 4 weeks. All right, after my training is complete, I have to battle this character called the Unknown Knight. If he defeats the Unknown Knight, I spend 2 days fasting and praying, and then I will get my anointment as a knight under God and the king. At the end of the fasting and praying, I will receive a plus 50 to my presence points, presence score. Wow. Plus 6 healing of any wounds, including poisonous wounds. After his anointment, the character is appointed a knight by King Overlord. Okay. As a knight, a character must take the following oath. Won't have a problem with that. Every 4 weeks, there's a chance you will have to be sent on a quest. So that would almost destroy my ability of going after Valron because I'd be too busy fulfilling quests all the time. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't think Maverick is knighthood material. I mean, I don't see him as marching around bearing arms for the king. Not this character. Oh, so that puts me back at the Dragon Slayer unless I go fight in the arena. You already saw my videos on the arena. So, oh my goodness. All right, let's try to end this week out. And then we'll see what the next episode. This has not been as an adventurous episode as some of the others, but this is the game. All right, so we're going to travel. We don't have to check for getting lost. We'll check for an encounter in open land. I think it's 75% chance. I rolled a 90, so we won't have an encounter. We can move. How many do we move on open land? It's been so long since I've been in the mountains. Forgot the normal rate. I think it's 3 or 2. I keep wanting to say 3. I think it's 2. Let's see here. Alright, so if you're traveling, you're walking, you move 2 hexes per day. So, we're going back to Dwarf Haven. 1, 2. We're going to get back to where we were at. Alright, so here's the next day of the week. If we rest, we heal 1 additional wound. I actually only have, I'm at 96, so I have only 2 wounds. So I don't need to rest. This is day 6, because that was day 5, where we started heading back to Dwarf Haven. So I'm just writing that in my journal. Headed back to Dwarf Haven. This is day 6. We don't have to check for getting lost. Weather's good. Check for an encounter. Ooh, that went off the table. So we have an encounter. see what we get. Oh! We encountered the samurai. Oh, 3 samurai. You see 3 50% samurai directly in front of your party. The samurai respect adventurous people. If you are not a knight, I'm not a knight, not on a mission for a king, you can add 10 to your roll. If you get a positive result, they will stay with you for a fee of 200 gold pieces. I don't have 200 gold pieces. If they join you, additional can be bought at Morse Monastery. They have shurikens. Well, let's see if we get a positive result. I don't want to get into any kind of conflict with these guys. 79 plus 10 is 89. Wow, is that NPC comrades? Would I have my first imp? I doubt it, but that's actually a good result. I just can't pay them. Right? I don't have 200 gold pieces. I don't even have 200 gold pieces worth of stuff to sell. Man, I'd love to have them in my party, boy. We could clean up. I think I'd go back to Dwarf Town and take out those friggin' guards. Which is one of the reasons I'm having all the problems I have now. Is ever since they threw me out. 89. Will aid you in combat or other activities. It says they would join your party. But I don't have to go to pay them. Man, that would have been cool to have them join my party. But I don't have to go to pay them. Okay, so I moved a little bit further. We're getting closer. If I can get some good wins, you know, we'd be within a day of Dwarf Town again. Let's see what the weather's going to be. Let's put this back. The Rest in the Hail Wounds card. Let's put the Samurai card back at the bottom. We don't need that. Let's see what the weather. We're doing good weather because I know a lot of the bad weather hit while I was resting. So this is rains. Without high boots, -1 from their movement. I don't think I've ever bought high boots from their ability score during any combat. Well, we're going to keep moving. That's not going to stop me. So we're going to check for an encounter. We will minus the 1 as required. 83, no encounter. So that gets us here. Not a lot of progress. But I think at this pace... Why my focus keeps going off? At this pace, we're 1, 2, 3, 4. We're only 4 days away from getting back to Dwarf Town and Dwarf Haven. And I gotta find something to deal with getting lost. 65% chance of getting lost going from the open land into the mountains. So I may try to enter the mountains from a different direction this time in case I get lost. You know, maybe I'll still wind up in the mountains, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to game that. So I don't know. That's the end of another week, which I think I'm going to stop here. I'm actually making pretty good progress heading back. But I don't know. We will see. Things are never quite as you plan or suspect they will be in the Overland. Until next time, everybody. My name is Maverick. I'm from the town of Milesdale, and I live in the Overland. The Overland is a dangerous place. You never know what you will run into, and you never know what you will find. When at all possible, never ever travel alone. And when all else fails, it's better to run and live to fight another day. And in the end, if you have faith, hope will light your way.